All right, what's up, guys? I'm bringing you guys a pull workout that I did the other day. So I'm getting really just back, biceps, and shoulders here. And it's gonna be a pretty simple, straightforward workout with exercises that aren't really too difficult. Very basic exercises that everybody should be doing in general. So first, I'm starting off with chin ups, specifically weighted chin ups, and I'm doing 3 sets of chin ups. And I'm doing them in a, I guess, reverse pyramid style when it comes to the weight. And if you don't know what a reverse pyramid is basically you start off with, let's say, sub max of your one rep max, so something below your 1 rep max, and then you decrease the weight on your second set, and then you decrease the weight again on your third set. So for me, this looked like doing like what my first set with 45 pounds added, and then my second set is 35 pounds, and then my last set is 25 pounds. Maybe I might even drop to body weight on the last set instead, but it really all depends, right? That way you can kind of basically keep your back and arms, back and biceps specifically, to not fatigue as much, because when it comes to back and bicep exercises, your back and biceps fatigue a bit more than, let's say, your traps or your pecs or your triceps. So you're definitely gonna want to work in a reverse pyramid style, especially with a pretty taxing movement like weighted pull-ups, right? Here I'm doing chin-ups specifically because, for one, I find chin-ups to be a bit easier, a bit better on my elbows, and of course they also work more of your biceps, so why not try and squeeze in the extra arm gains whenever you can. And I think doing weighted chin-ups, weighted pull-ups, whatever, or pull-ups and chin-ups in general are very important exercises, not just for your back, but for the development of like your whole physique and the total strength that you can get. Next exercise is chest supported rows. I'm only doing 2 sets of this, 135 pounds. And the reason why they're chest supported instead of bent over is so that I'm not working my glutes, hamstrings, and my back, or I am working my back, but I'm not working, let's say, my erectors spinae, which are like my spinal erectors, right? Those are gonna fatigue probably more so when you're in that bent over position when you do bent over rows. And what's after my pulling day, it's going to be my leg day. So if I have my spinal erectors fatigued, or my lower back and my hamstrings fatigued by doing bent over rows the day before, then I won't be able to maximally perform at squats or RDLs or some type of deadlifting movement. So that's why I opt for some type of chest supported version. Usually I will do like ring rows or something like that, but this time I just wanted to move weight around. I wanted to try it, right? And I have this bench implement now. I have this new bench, so I'm like, why not me try and do like these rows, like this chest supported rows. You can also do these with dumbbells, chest supported rows with dumbbells. It'll probably be better since you can move your arms in and out, and you can kind of like maybe do one arm at a time or something like that if you felt the need to do so, and you could probably control the amount of weight that you push a lot more easily. And then after my rows, that's when I start moving towards isolation movement. So I start off with big compound movements in general when it comes to my pushing and pulling movements, and then I move on to isolations towards the end of the exercise. So that way, let's say if I'm going to work my arms like I am with these bicep curls, I don't want to do those before my chin-ups or before my rows, because that'll affect my performance, my overall performance, when I do my rows and my chin-ups. So it's also important to isolate, because when you do isolate, you kind of get rid of weaknesses. Let's say your bicep is like a limiting factor when it comes to doing chin-ups. If you add in some type of curl variation towards the end of your pulling exercises, your biceps are going to become stronger as a result, and therefore your biceps can not give out on you when you're doing weighted pull-ups or chin-ups. Here I'm doing lateral raises. I am going a bit high, and then once I can't get high anymore, I just kind of go to parallel to the ground. I've been doing lateral raises for a long time. I think they're a really good exercise to grow your medial delt. Again, that's if you want to get these round boulder shoulders, right? I wouldn't say they're going to be like the best for like, I guess, health of your shoulder, like per se your rotator cuff. That's why having some type of external rotation might be better. But also by me like going up, you're gonna see this in the second set of the lateral raises. But by me going up all the way like kind of above my head, that is gonna help your rotator cuff a lot more with the lateral raises. But you can also call them Lou lateral raises because this like weightlifter named Lou did like these lateral raises where he went all the way above his head. But you know, whatever. But those will get your shoulders pretty taxed, and that's going to be pretty good for long-term gains. Here I'm doing curls. This is my second set of curls. Basically, after my top movement, which is the movement that I prioritize, which is weighted chin-ups, I'll do 3 sets of that. But every movement after that, I will do 2 sets, right? I've been doing 2 sets for a while. I discussed this in my last video where I just really do 2 sets for about most of everything because it feels like I don't really have to do 3 sets. I've noticed that I can still gain plenty of strength and muscle when it comes to just doing 2 sets. My muscles still grow. But when it comes to maybe exercises that I might want to squeeze a little bit more out of, then I might do 3 sets, right? And that would be like my bigger compound movements. So here you can see with the lateral raises, I'm kind of getting them a bit above parallel. You can, if you want to, get them all the way above your head. But once you can no longer get them above your head, you kind of like, you don't want to end the set there. You want to come parallel to the ground so that way you're still working your shoulders, right? I wouldn't say that that type of method would be best for any exercise. Like let's say you're doing chin-ups and then you can no longer do full range of motion, now you're doing half reps. I don't see the point in doing that, but maybe exercises like rows and lateral raises, those specifically, can be good when like, you know, towards the end of your set, once you can no longer do full range of motion, you might start moving towards doing like half reps or something like that. So that way, you know, you're still engaging those muscle groups that are being worked. And the last exercise here I'm doing are reverse curls. For my forearms, usually I'll do hammer curls. I really do like hammer curls, but I'll just switch them out sometimes just for the sake of variety and kind of like hitting a bit more muscles in general. It's not like I'm going to lose out on gains because like, you know, I didn't do hammer curls that one time. But definitely I would say mix in different types of variations. You know, maybe don't just do one type of barbell curl. Maybe you could do pelican curls. Maybe you can do incline curls. Maybe you can do spider curls or something like that, right? Instead of always doing hammer curls like how I usually do, you could do pinwheel curls. You can do reverse curls like how I'm doing in these videos. You can add things like fat grips and whatnot to bars and barbells to make your forearms work even harder, such as maybe doing pull-ups with fat grips or something like that. And that will light up your forearms like crazy. So yeah, I usually put in my forearm movement towards the end of my pulling exercises because, I mean, it was probably like the one thing that didn't really get worked out of all the exercises. Chin-ups, not really working my forearms like that. Barbell curls, of course, not really working my forearms like that. And then rows. Rows can work your forearms a bit, but they're not going to work them to such a degree to where you might get like a lot of, I guess, growth from them, right? I want to be able to develop all parts of my physique. So I think it's important for me to add isolations in, you know, parts where I feel that they're necessary, right? I don't want to have like these big arms, but like skinny forearms or something like that. I don't want to have like this well-developed torso, but like, you know, skinny arms, right? It's going to look silly. And I already have long arms. So me having long arms is just kind of like, I have to make sure I put in that extra work to get my forearms and my biceps and triceps where I want them to be. And that's about it. See you guys in the next one.